Imagine seeing the map of India actually change. A whole new state appearing not overnight, but through years and years of really determined, peaceful effort.
It's quite a story, isn't it? The story of Telangana.
Exactly. And at the heart of it is Kalvakuntla Chandrashekar Rao, KCR as everyone knows him.
A pivotal figure, absolutely. The architect of the state, you could say.
Definitely. So today, we're doing a deep dive into his journey. We've got some great material covering his life, the whole Telangana movement, his time as chief minister.
And even his more recent sort of national ambitions.
Right. Our mission really is to unpack the key parts of his story and understand his impact on Telangana, obviously, but maybe even wider,
Let's get into it. Where do we start?
Okay, let's begin at the beginning. The sources point to his birth, 1954, Chintamadaka village in Medak district.
And from a humble farming family background, that connection to the land seems important later on.
It does. And the material also highlights his education, a master's in literature from Osmani University, and this early passion.
For Telugu language and culture.
Yes, exactly. And even an interest in self-governance for the region quite early on. Feels like the seeds were sown there.
Absolutely. That grounding in local culture, the language, it often forms a really strong base for, regional identity politics later. And the literature degree probably helped shape his communication skills, too.
Makes sense. Okay, fast forward a bit. He enters politics proper in 1983.
Right, with the Telugu Desam Party, the PDP, under N.T. Rama Rao, a huge figure himself.
And KCR wasn't just a backbencher, was he? He held some significant roles.
Yeah, multiple ministerial posts in the unified Andhra Pradesh government. Transport, labor, even irrigation.
So he gained real administrative experience within the existing system.
Crucial experience, I'd say. Learning the ropes of governance, understanding how a state actually works or doesn't work from the inside. Handling different portfolios like that gives you a broad view.
But then comes this massive shift. The sources really emphasize 2001 as the turning point.
April 27th, 2001, he resigns from the TDP.
Which must have been a big deal at the time, leaving a major party like that.
A huge step. And then, almost immediately, he founds the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, the TRS.
With that one single, very clear goal.
Exactly. The formation of a separate Telangana state. Nothing else. That was the entire platform initially.
Wow. That's incredibly focused. You have to admire the decisiveness, even if it was a huge political risk.
Definitely. And that single-minded focus probably helped galvanize people around the cause over the next decade plus.
And what a movement it became. The material we have paints a picture of him as the absolute central figure.
Right at the forefront, organizing these huge protests.
Massive rallies, yeah. And hunger strikes, using his own body as a tool for protest.
And those long marches, the padiatras, walking across the region, meeting people directly.
Really connecting at the grassroots level. It shows total commitment, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the sources highlight one specific moment, his indefinite fast back in 2009.
Yes, that seemed pivotal.
It really was. It apparently forced the central government in Delhi to, actually start serious talks about statehood.
Shows the power of that kind of nonviolent, sustained pressure.
It does. And after, 13 years of this peaceful political struggle?
13 years. It's quite something.
Telangana was finally formed June 2nd, 2014, India's 29th state.
A testament to the movement's persistence and his leadership through it all.
It really is a case study in how regional movements can achieve their goals within a democratic framework.
So the state is formed. Now comes the arguably harder part, building it. He becomes the first chief minister.
Right. From 2014 to 2018, that first term.
And the focus, according to our sources, was very much on, state building fundamentals.
Yeah.
Getting the structures in place.
And big infrastructure projects, particularly irrigation, which makes sense given the region's history and needs.
Some really ambitious ones mentioned here.
Yeah.
Mission Bhagiratha.
Aiming for drinking water in every single household. A huge goal.
And the Kalvakuntla Lift Irrigation Project, described here as the world's largest.
The scale is just incredible. A massive engineering feat designed to reshape agriculture in the state.
And also Mission Kakatiya, reviving old traditional water tanks. Interesting mix of massive modern projects and sort of heritage restoration.
It shows that dual approach, doesn't it? Tackling immediate needs like water, investing big for the long term with Kaleshwaram, but also valuing, traditional knowledge and resources.
Then he wins a second term, quite comfortably, it seems, from 2018 to 2023.
Yes, a significant majority.
And this term, the focus seems to shift or maybe intensify towards welfare programs.
Yeah, strengthening the social safety net seems to be key here. Things like Reich Bandhu.
Financial help directly to farmers.
Exactly. And Asara pensions for the elderly disabled folks. KCR kits.
For mothers and newborns, right, improving healthcare access.
And Dalit Bandhu, a specific empowerment scheme for Dalit communities. It's a broad suite of welfare initiatives.
It really covers a lot of ground, different demographics. You can see how that might solidify political support, too.
Absolutely. It addresses basic needs and inequalities while also likely having political benefits. The question always is, of course, funding and long-term sustainability for programs like these.
The material also loops back to mention some visionary reforms. It puts these welfare schemes alongside things like TSIPS.
Ah, yes, the industrial policy, fast-tracking approvals for businesses.
Right, showing that focus on economic development wasn't forgotten. It was happening alongside the welfare push.
And Rithu Bima, life insurance for farmers.
So it's presented as this blend, this integrated strategy, welfare and development hand in hand.
That seems to be the core idea of the Telangana model, as it's often called, trying to boost the economy, create jobs, attract investment, and use the proceeds or state resources for robust social support.
Let's talk about his leadership style. How is he portrayed?
Well, the sources describe him as a strategic thinker, a master of ground-level politics, someone who understands the grassroots.
And this idea of Telangana Atma Gauravam, Telangana self-respect, that seems core to his message.
Very much so. Tapping into that deep sense of regional identity and pride. It also mentions his oratory skills.
Apparently quite powerful.
And administrative ability, plus that deep cultural connection. It's a potent mix for any leader, especially one driving such a major change.
And what about the results? Did this model work, according to the info we have?
Well, the achievements listed are pretty impressive. Telangana becoming one of India's fastest growing state economies.
Significant.
Top performer in things like electricity supply, per capita income growth, IT exports.
IT exports too, so Hyderabad really took off.
Yeah, emerged as a major global hub for IT and pharmaceuticals under his tenure. The sources also mention awards for some of the state schemes, recognition from Niti Aayog, even the UN.
So tangible results recognized nationally and internationally.
Based on this information, yes. It suggests the focus on welfare and development yielded some concrete successes.
But his vision didn't stop at Telangana's borders, did it?
No. In 2022, that big change happened. TRS became BRS, the Bharat Rashtra Samiti.
Signaling national ambitions.
Clearly. A pivot towards trying to influence politics across India. The idea, it seems, was to offer a kind of alternative federal model.
Focused on development and welfare, like in Telangana.
Yes, and championing issues like farmers' rights, stronger federalism, more power to states, and social justice on a national stage.
That's a major leap, trying to scale a regional model nationally.
A huge challenge. Indian national politics is a complex beast, but it shows the level of his ambition, looking beyond the state he founded.
The material includes a couple of quotes that really stick out.
Ooh, which ones?
This one. Telangana is not just a region. It is an emotion, a right, and a responsibility. Really captures that deep feeling behind the movement.
That does sum it up powerfully, the blend of identity, entitlement, and duty.
And another. We fought not to rule, but to serve.
A clear statement of intent, or at least the intent he wanted to project.
It frames the struggle in terms of service rather than just power. Gives insight into his political messaging.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the conclusion frames him as friend of farmers, father of Telangana. Strong titles, reflecting both the welfare focus and his foundational role in the state's creation.
It highlights his legacy as the founder and builder, his impact through that long, peaceful struggle. A blend of grassroots connection, policy innovation, and state building.
Yeah, the information clearly positions him as a major regional leader who significantly altered India's political map and then implemented a distinct governance model in the new state.
His journey certainly offers a lot to think about.
Definitely. And that shift to the national stage, forming the BRS, even if it hasn't yet had massive national impact, it opens up fascinating questions.
Like what?
Well, it makes you think about the role of these powerful regional leaders in India today. Can successful state-level models really translate to the national level?
Yeah, especially in a country as incredibly diverse as India.
Exactly. And how does the rise of strong regional identities and leaders interact with the idea of national unity? It's a constant dynamic.
Definitely something for listeners to mull over. The balance between state aspirations and the bigger national picture.